Charlotte activist says she had a run-in with the mother of a 6-year-old child who died in heinous conditions while being supervised by her legal guardian. That legal guardian is behind bars tonight. Channel 9's Hunter Signs is live in Uptown Charlotte. Hunter, you learned some disturbing new details about how this child was allegedly treated.
Hannah, I want to warn everyone that many of the details in this case are repulsive and graphic. Tonight, I learned that 6-year-old little girl who died last week was just 27 pounds. Typically, the average weight for a girl that age is around 45 pounds. This is a house of horrors, the home where police say 6-year-old Dominique Moody was forced to stay in a dog crate in the living room, often bound by duct tape. Tonight, her legal guardian, Susan Robinson, is behind bars on no bond after police say she refused to assist, call 911, or report abuse and neglect.
She was supposed to be her caregiver.
Jacqueline Lewis was heartbroken when she heard the news.
To find out that this child had wounds on her body, 6 years old, 27 pounds. Me as a mother, I would never, ever do anything like that to my child, to anyone else's child.
Dominique's mother is not charged in this case, so we aren't naming her. But Lewis says a few months ago, she picked the mother up from this home to help her find housing for her and her kids.
She got in my car, she didn't have anything. So I said, where's your clothes and where are the children? And she said, well, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna go get everything straightened out at the hotel, and I'll be back to pick the kids and my clothes up.
Susan Robinson was the legal guardian of Dominique and the other 4 children who lived in this home, ranging in age from 1 to 6 years old. Robinson says Dominique's mother abused her for 1.5 years. Officers were told when Dominique was found not breathing, she was placed in front of the kitchen stove to warm her up and bring her back to life. Lewis is left emotional and full of questions.
Those kind of parents don't deserve children.
Police are determining if other people should be charged in this case. Channel 9 did reach out to DSS with numerous questions, including whether they sent anyone to inspect or visit that house before and while Dominique was living at that home, and if they had ever received any complaints with that address listed. So far, we have not heard back from that state agency.
They obviously didn't. Or maybe I don't know. This is a crazy situation, y'all. But we got 3 people charged. Let's get over into this next video.
Well, bond denied for the 3rd woman charged in a horrific child abuse case. Taryn McKnight went before a judge this morning for her first appearance. She is one of 3 people charged with multiple counts of child abuse after a 6-year-old girl was found dead in a home in East Charlotte earlier this month. And we do want to warn you, some of the details are graphic and disturbing. WBTV's Katie Salt reports.
Prosecutors say while Taryn's mother, Tanya McKnight, was the primary guardian for that 6-year-old, they say Taryn knew the alleged abuse was going on and did nothing to stop it.
Send her to jail too. That's all I need to hear. Send her to jail too.
Arrest warrants say Taryn was caring for the 6-year-old as her adopted sister. Taryn appeared in court virtually Friday morning and in a wheelchair. Monday, prosecutors said shortly after the alleged child abuse was discovered, Taryn was hit by a truck and had been in the hospital since. She was interviewed and arrested shortly after she got out of the hospital. The affidavit says police got a call to a home on Gwynn Hill Road on December 16th from Tanya McKnight saying her child was not breathing. Police say the home was infested with rodents, insects, and did not have central heat. Prosecutors also say along with the 6-year-old little girl, there were 4 other children in the home. The DA says the abuse against the child went on for nearly a year and a half. Court documents show when the child was taken to the hospital, she weighed just 27 pounds, which is considered malnourished. They also say she had injuries, including broken bones, burns, and extreme rash. The affidavit says Taryn and Tanya McKnight are the caregivers of the 5 children in the home, but the other woman charged, Susan Robinson, also lives there. Police in court Friday say Taryn admitted in the interview she knew about the abuse and said while she was not the, quote, main actor, she knew a lot about what was going on. The judge, in the end, denying bond for Taryn McKnight. And McKnight is due back in court on January 16th. In Uptown Charlotte, Katie Solt, WBTV, on your...
Absolutely. Let's go back and look at what these women look like. You got Taryn McKnight, Tony McKnight, and Susan Robinson. All of them are charged for child abuse. One was the main perpetrator, 2 others knew about it. At least that's what I'm thinking. It's a crazy world. But we also got to hear about the social services. Where were the social services and all this? Especially since it was an adopted daughter. So let's get over into that.
WBTV, our investigates teams uncovering just how much authorities knew about allegations of abuse and neglect at an East Charlotte home before a child's horrific death there last month.
Investigative reporter Naomi Coles obtained records showing this home was well known to officials, yet no one stepped in to remove the children.
No child's story should begin at a funeral home. But for Dominique Moody, that's where you'll now find her most outspoken advocates.
We know that this little one struggled to survive.
J. Vernon Peterson is Dominique's distant relative and runs Unity Funeral Services in Fayetteville. He didn't know of Dominique's existence until family reached out asking him to help in her death.
When I read how she passed away, I was incensed.
Graphic and horrific new details just released in court.
The 6-year-old died in this East Charlotte home, since burned in a fire on December 16th. Investigators have charged 3 women in the home, including Dominique's guardian, and accused them of keeping the child bound in tape in a dog cage, withholding food, beating her, and leaving her to sleep with dog feces, rats, and roaches on the floor. Court records say her body was covered in old and new scars and injuries, and she was 27 pounds, 13 pounds below the minimum acceptable weight for a child who was about to turn 7 years old.
In my line of work, you swallow and keep moving. This is something that you just can't swallow.
For 3 men who see death every day, Dominique Moody's broke them.
I have to be the one to take the body into the freezer, and when I looked into the bag, I couldn't handle it. I just broke down and started crying.
Until now, the Mecklenburg County Department of Social Services has refused to comment on whether they had been involved at this home, citing child privacy laws. But I've now obtained this juvenile court record, typically sealed off to public eye. It's filed by DSS social workers. In it, they admit to 5 investigations opened at Dominique's home in the years before her death. The agency closed each of them, saying there wasn't enough evidence to substantiate abuse and neglect.
This is evidence of a system failure.
No substantial. I don't know how the home looked. I don't know how it looked on the inside, just from the outside of what we're seeing right now. But just thinking about all the injuries and everything like that, if you pop up unannounced, you would have found something. You cannot tell me if you would have popped up unannounced at that household, you wouldn't have found something that would have helped you get that little girl out of there. I don't know who they're trying to lie to. That is crazy.
The system has blood on its hands.
Those closed investigations are undated in the record that I have. But the man who embalmed Dominique's body believes her scars and injuries date back years.
My professional opinion is they're as old as she is. Some of those markings have healed over and scar tissue, things like that, at least 4 or 5 years at bare minimum.
Do you believe that this child should have been removed from this home long ago?
Absolutely.
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 Without question. You protected yourself, but you've not protected the children that you had a commitment to take care of.
My chocolate drop, my twin.
I found Dominique's biological mother, Ikea McKnight, who court records say signed custody over to Tanya McKnight 5 years ago, who was a relative charged in her death. Did you ever call police about the children?
Yes, I have.
I have the proof. Through a Freedom of Information Act request, I obtained records showing Charlotte police were called to this address nearly 50 times since 2020 Domestic disturbances, custody escorts, assaults, and at one point looking for a young man who lived there who was wanted for murder. In those records, I found at least 3 calls that appear to be from family members, asking dispatchers for wellness checks because they were worried for the kids. In one case, the record says the biological mother was trying to get the kids back.
My baby needs justice. Should no child have to get put into the system and have to worry about who's going to properly take care of them?
Let's not.
I would like to know why she gave the kids in the first place, or her kid. But this is a crazy situation.
Have Dominique go away in vain. That because of her, we're having this conversation. Because of her, somebody else is going to be saved.
The photos you've seen of Dominique throughout the story show her as a baby, the last time her biological mother says she saw her alive. I have been shown photos of Dominique, taken by someone inside this home about 4.5 months before her death. They are graphic and they are horrible. The best way I can describe them is that I've only seen children look like that in photos from areas ravaged by war or famine. Not in a home on Charlotte's East Side, in a county filled with resources, and at an address well known to authorities who are responsible for her safety. Reporting in Mecklenburg County, Naomi Coles, WBTV, on your side.
This is one of the craziest situations I've seen in a long time. The craziest situations. Now I feel like we got the gist of it, so we're not going to do the AI breakdown, but this is a crazy situation. Well, we might. Let's go over into it and see what if they can tell us anything else that we already don't know. So as they mentioned, cause of death, while the official cause of death has not been released, investigators detail extreme neglect and torture. At the time of her death, she was 27 pounds. Court documents state that the child was forced to live in a dog cage, duct taped and beaten for 1.5 years. The officials described the residence as a house of horror infested with rodents, cockroaches, human and animal feces were found in every room. But they said that they investigated, went to the house 5 different times to investigate child abuse and didn't find sufficient evidence. Send them, whoever they put down who have went to go see the children, send them to jail too. Or they need to be fired and sent to jail. Because either you lied about going to see them, or you seen this and was just like, oh yeah, and just brushed it off. Or please tell me you did a unannounced visit. Because if you just announced, of course they're gonna try to clean it up. But if that's how the house was, I don't know how you can clean it up. But let's go over to the legal and the suspects. So we got the Tony McKnight, the child's legal guardian and grandmother. She is held on $2 million bond. You got the McKnight's sister. She is held without bond. And then you got Terry McKnight, Tony's daughter. She is also held without bond. Why is the legal guardian, who probably I would blame the most, have a $2 million bond and everybody else has held without bond? I don't understand that. But all 3 faces charges of felony child abuse, inflicting serious bodily injury, and 4 counts of misdemeanor child abuse. Their next court appearance is scheduled for March 19th. So it's a systematic failure. A recent investigation revealed that authorities, including the police and social workers, had been called to the home nearly 50 times. And then on Christmas Eve 2025, just days after the arrest, the home was intentionally set on fire. So you know why? Come on now, we use our context clues. Why was it intentionally set on fire? To destroy, to make sure no one else gets any more evidence that can be used against them, or for the insurance money. Those are the only 2 possibilities. But this is a crazy case, y'all. Absolutely crazy case. And then, most important part, the 4 other children, ranges from 13 months to 6 years old, were removed from the home and taken into state care. So they at least they get those out, but they were too late for the 7-year-old. Crazy world. Yeah. Send the social workers to jail too. I don't need to see them. They should never work be another social worker for the rest of their lives and they need to go to jail. Because there's no way if you did an unannounced visit, you did a random visit to check on these children, you would have found there was no reason you can say, oh, there was no evidence. Come on now. The girl was sleeping in a dog cage, getting beat, underweight. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said.